I'm 42 years old, and my name is James Carter. Emily, my wife, is 42 as well, and we have been blissfully wed for 20 years. I met Emily in college. Even though we were in the same class, we had never spoken to one another until we connected in a cooking club. I reasoned that because I was living alone, I should at least learn how to cook. Although dining out was a possibility, I chose to learn how to cook because I was a broke college student trying to save money. I hardly knew how to hold a knife and was a total novice. Now that I think about it, my grip was horrifyingly incorrect. Emily must have been equally appalled when she saw me. At the time, she gently taught me the fundamentals of cooking, though, rather than giving up on me. James, try gripping the knife more like this when using it. Don't exert too much pressure. Yes, that is ideal. She had such a soft, comforting voice. I can still clearly recall it. Initially, I was incredibly awkward. I recall being so disheartened when I shredded cabbage so thickly that it wasn't even a shred. However, Emily never failed to make me smile. It's all right, James. Initially, everyone has difficulties. Let's continue working together. It's incredible that you wanted to join the culinary club and give this a try. I'm grateful, Emily. I think I would have given up by now if it weren't for your support. Really? That's good to hear. James, you always put up a lot of effort. I want to encourage you because of it. Encouraged in this way, I began to progressively expand my culinary repertoire. I consequently started to truly enjoy cooking. It became into real enjoyment. Curiosity and excitement drove me to experiment with an increasing number of dishes. You've mastered stew recipes now. Wow, this tastes really good. Emily's glistening eyes and excitement when I offered her my first flawlessly prepared stew made me very happy. I knew I had fallen in love with her when she smiled with happiness and kept saying, "This is so good. Will you be my girlfriend, Emily?" What? Really? If it's all right with you. Yes, please. One of my favorite moments in life was hearing Emily say yes. Spending time with her was an absolute joy. After numerous dates, we made the decision to tie the knot at age 22. Despite having employment, we were both recent college graduates with little money. Nevertheless, we had a modest but meaningful ceremony because I wanted Emily to wear a wedding gown. 20 years have passed since then. We are happiest when we are together every single day. Hey honey, I'm back at home. What are you preparing? It has a wonderful scent. Welcome back. Your favorite is beef stew. I wanted to prepare something to cheer you up, because I knew you would be exhausted after work. As Emily entered, I grinned at her while she stirred the stew that was simmering on the stove. Emily saw me like that and gave me a nice smile. Whoa, I'm really excited. I'm grateful, honey. Thank you so much for everything. I'll start cooking more after my hectic work season is over, okay? As she stated it, she appeared somewhat guilty. I smiled and reassured her. Thank you as well. We support one another because we both put in a lot of work. I appreciate you, Emily, and I enjoy cooking for the people I care about. Additionally, I believe that I have improved my cooking skills because of the best instructor I could have ever wished for. Emily appears a little ashamed of what I said. She has added so much joy and richness to my life. The two things I value most in life are her generosity and our time together. Thank you for everything. You're always so thoughtful. Wouldn't have children, but perhaps because of that, we've been able to spend more time cherishing and supporting one another. These peaceful days we share are the greatest happiness of my life. One day, Emily handed me an envelope labeled invitation. Honey, there's a company event coming up, a family gathering. Would you come with me if you're okay with it? Seeing the slight blush on her cheeks, I immediately smiled and replied, Can I really come? Of course. I'll make it work, no matter what. She looked relieved as she smiled softly. Actually, it's not just about me. They're putting together a commemorative video for employees who've been with the company for 20 years. There's even footage of us from our younger days. Honestly, being filmed felt a little embarrassing, but I'd love for you to see it. I was struck with surprise and found myself once again appreciating all the hard work Emily had put in. Emily works as an interior designer for Mitchell House, a construction company. Staying at the same company and working so hard for 20 years is an incredible accomplishment. I can't wait to see it. It'll be amazing to watch all your efforts over the years. Congratulations on 20 years, Emily. You've done something remarkable. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, honey. It means a lot to hear you say that. I've always been able to keep going because of your support. I pulled her close, gently patting her back. Having been by her side all these years, I've seen the effort and challenges she's faced, and I deeply respect her perseverance. But then I noticed a flicker of worry cross her face. What's wrong? Is something bothering you? Is it about the gathering? After hesitating briefly, she nodded slightly. There's something, or rather someone, that's been on my mind. My manager, Rachel. She's made things a little difficult for me. Rachel? Why is that? Emily sighed before explaining. She's very prideful and convinced that she's always right. She tends to get emotional and lash out at her team when things don't go perfectly. I could see her brows furrow as she recalled the details. Once, one of my younger colleagues, Amy, was working under Rachel's direction. But Rachel's instructions were so vague that everyone around us noticed how unclear they were. Even our supervisor, Mark, suggested Rachel give more specific guidance. However, it seems that Rachel did not actually listen to that advice. In the end, her subordinate Amy couldn't manage to succeed and ended up failing. Honestly, even I could tell that the fault lay with Rachel's poor instructions. So, Rachel called Amy in and started scolding her, completely driven by emotion. The memory seemed unpleasant for Emily, as her expression tightened. I was there and couldn't just stand by while Amy was being unfairly criticized. I'd worked with Amy before. She's diligent and eager to learn. It was obvious to me that Rachel's vague instructions caused the issue. You spoke up, didn't you? Emily nodded and shared what happened. Amy, why couldn't you follow such simple instructions? If you can't even manage this, you won't. Make it here or anywhere. Rachel's face flushed red as she nervously pounded on the documents with a loud thud. Overwhelmed by the scene, Amy silently lowered her gaze. Seeing Amy slightly trembling, Emily couldn't hold back any longer and intervened. Rachel, I don't think that's entirely fair. Didn't this happen because your instructions were unclear? Rachel turned to glare at Emily, stunned. What are you saying? It's the employee's responsibility to understand and execute instructions properly. If Amy failed, it's clearly her fault. How can you even suggest otherwise? Undeterred by Rachel's intimidating attitude, Emily continued speaking while shielding Amy behind her. With all due respect, this time your directions were far too vague. Criticizing someone for failing when the guidance was unclear isn't fair. And if I remember correctly, Mark even advised you to provide more specific instructions, didn't he? Rachel's face turned even redder as she raised her voice angrily. In the distance, Emily could see Mark shrinking into himself. Emily felt bad for involving him, but he didn't need to retreat so far. Who do you think you are, talking back to your boss like that? That's completely out of line. It's not about being out of line or not. I'm simply stating the fact that when a subordinate makes a mistake, part of the responsibility lies with their supervisor. Isn't it a leader's job to support their team? Rachel fell silent for a moment, but quickly retorted, I don't need to do that. If my subordinates mess up, that's their problem, not mine. At that point, Emily realized it was hopeless. A person who couldn't admit at a subordinate's mistake might also be their responsibility didn't seem fit for leadership. Whether Emily's words would resonate or not, she decided to stick to the truth. But by doing that, you're only hindering your team's growth. Shouldn't a supervisor work together with their team to achieve better results? As Emily finished recounting her story, I couldn't help but smile. I'd never met Rachel, but from what Emily had told me, I already had a clear picture of her character. So what happened after that? I asked. Emily, with a similar smile, replied, well, she couldn't win the argument, so she stormed off, fuming. Ever since then, she's made a habit of throwing snide remarks at me whenever she gets the chance. Hearing this, I felt a surge of frustration. What a petty manager. That's infuriating. Rachel, sounds incredibly immature. It's completely unfair for you to be targeted just for speaking the truth. Maybe, but I suppose I was also at fault for bruising her pride. I should have chosen a better time and place to talk, maybe somewhere private. No, you did the right thing. You stood up for Amy when she needed support. If you hadn't said anything, she would have been left to endure that unfair scolding. You're not in the wrong, and it's absurd for Rachel to hold that against you. Hearing my firm words, Emily smiled softly. Thank you, honey, but honestly, I just let her. Comments go in one ear and out the other. I'm fine, really. Besides, you'll be at the gathering, and it's meant to be a celebration. It would be a waste not to enjoy it, right? Her cheerful smile reassured me, and we ended the evening enjoying a quiet dinner together. In the days leading up to the event, I spent time helping Emily pick out an outfit, hoping she'd enjoy the gathering to the fullest. Finally, the day of the event arrived. When Emily stepped into the living room all dressed up, I couldn't help but stare in awe. She was stunning, even more so than usual. Her usual calm demeanor was elevated by an elegant beauty that left me speechless. Emily, you look amazing, like a model or a movie star. I said it sincerely, but Emily smiled bashfully and gave a small wave. Oh, stop it. You're exaggerating. But thank you. It means a lot. Feeling a little nervous next to her, I straightened the collar of my suit. How do I look? Do I match up to your level tonight? Emily looked me over with a warm smile and nodded. You look great. About 30% more handsome than usual. Her playful compliment made me grin. Praise from anyone is nice, but hearing it from Emily is always the best. Thanks for that. I feel ready now. Shall we go? Yes, let's go and enjoy ourselves. Hand in hand, we stepped out together. A short 20-minute drive later, we arrived at the venue. The banquet hall was breathtaking, like something straight out of a movie. The high ceilings were adorned with glittering chandeliers, and the tables were decorated with stunning floral arrangements. I took it all in, impressed, before turning to Emily, who was smiling beside me. This is incredible, I said. Hosting the gathering in a place like this, it's so grand. Isn't it? Even I'm surprised. The CEO, Mr. Owens, really pulled out all the stops for this one. They don't usually let us have this, you know, Emily whispered, making me chuckle. After completing the check-in process, we stepped into the venue. Almost immediately, Emily's colleagues and the supervisors who had been helping her came over to greet us. Emily, you look stunning as always. Is this your husband? It's such a pleasure to meet you. We really appreciate everything Emily does for us. I bowed politely and replied, Thank you very much. I'm grateful for all the support you've given my wife. As more and more people came to greet Emily, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride watching her in her element. Emily, good evening. You look amazing, like a movie star tonight. The woman who cheerfully approached us was introduced by Emily. Thank you. This is Amy. Ah, so this is the girl Emily stood up for. I thought as I greeted her with a smile. Amy, who looked like a recent graduate, gave me a friendly smile. Nice to meet you. I'm James, Emily's husband. Thank you so much for always looking after her. As I bowed my head, Amy began to panic. Oh no, not at all. It's Emily who's always helping me. Honestly, without her, I might have quit. Already. I'm terrible at learning the ropes, she said, looking so downhearted. Seeing her look so down, I decided to give her a piece of advice. No one is good at their job right from the start. I've seen a lot of people in my career, and to some extent, everyone makes mistakes. What's important is learning from them. Mistakes are part of the experience. And if you have a boss you really don't like, you could always mess up on purpose and enjoy watching them have to apologize for it. I ended with a mischievous grin, prompting Emily to chime in. James, really? Emily couldn't help but laugh, and Amy joined in with a giggle. That's one way to look at it, Amy said, laughing. Haha, I see. Don't take that seriously, Emily added. Your husband is so charming and funny. I hope I can marry someone wonderful like that. Someday. I'm sure you'll find someone soon. And if you're ever unsure, bring them to the house. My husband has a good eye for people, and he'll make sure to scrutinize them for you. Really? I'll definitely take you up on that offer. Of course, come by any time. We watched Amy return to help at the reception desk, and I turned to Emily. Emily, you're so popular. I'm really grateful when people reach out like this. It makes me feel like all the hard work was worth it, she said with a smile as we strolled through the venue, enjoying this special moment together. We checked the seating chart and headed to our assigned seats. Elegant tables filled the hall, and attendees were chatting amicably at their places. As we approached our table, Emily's expression suddenly stiffened. Emily? Following her gaze, I saw something unbelievable on M's name card. To my shock, it read, Foolish trash. What the hell is this? Anger and shock surged through me at once. This was not just a harmless joke. Someone clearly wrote it with the intent to insult Emily. I looked around and noticed several people glancing our way. This is outrageous. Who did this? Emily was looking down slightly but trying to act strong. However, I could see her hands trembling. It's okay, James. Don't worry about it, she said, but the sadness in her voice was undeniable. There's no way I can ignore this. This is just cruel, I said, my voice rising. Emily tried to calm me down, but I could see tears welling up in her eyes. Accompanied by laughter, Rachel appeared on the scene. She was wearing gaudy oversized accessories and a flashy dress that looked as if she had time-traveled back to the 80s. Her outfit was completely out of place for the atmosphere of the venue, making it obvious at a glance that she didn't belong. Rachel looked at Emily, whose expression was filled with sadness, and began laughing loudly, with satisfaction. Oh my, is something wrong? Your place card says foolish trash. Isn't that just perfect for you? Her laughter echoed through the hall, and the atmosphere instantly turned icy. Emily kept her head down, and inside, my anger was boiling over, but I managed to hold it back, forcing myself to speak in a calm and composed tone. Nice to meet you. I'm James, Emily's husband. May I have your name? I kept my tone polite, but let my sharp gaze rest on Rachel. She looked surprised for a moment, but soon regained her confidence, smiling smugly. Me? I'm Rachel. So you're her husband. Huh. How unfortunate for you to witness such an embarrassing moment like this. Just to confirm, I asked, are you the one who did this? Rachel smirked. Yes, I did. Look, no offense, but she's your wife. I don't know how she is at home, but at work, she's useless. Unlike her, I'm successful and hold a respectable position. Rachel laughed loudly, her voice echoing through the room. I see. I truly envy someone with your level of self-esteem, I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Being unable to objectively evaluate oneself can be embarrassing, but you've certainly turned it into a strength. Rachel froze for a moment. As the meaning sank in, her face flushed red with anger. She glared at me, trying to contain her rage, but I wasn't done. You do know it's 2023 now, right? Do you shop at thrift stores specializing in 80s fashion or something? At that, a few chuckles rose from the surrounding guests. Emily tugged gently on my arm, trying to stop me. James, I'm fine, really. Okay, I said, her voice tinged with worry, but I gave her a reassuring smile. Just give me a moment. I can't stand by when someone insults you. Our exchange seemed to ignite Rachel's temper further. What a rude man you are. You two are unbearable. Especially you, Emily. You're a total failure, clinging to the same position for years without a promotion. How pathetic. The murmurs around us grew louder, but Rachel didn't stop. And your husband? He's no better. No manners, no sense. People without children are always so clueless. At that, something inside me snapped. What did you just say? The anger I had been suppressing surged like a storm inside me. Those words were absolutely unforgivable. No, I refused to forgive them. I quietly muttered, I see. My face was emotionless, and my voice naturally dropped lower. I could feel the atmosphere freeze instantly, as if everyone around me sensed the transformation. This calm, collected version of me was completely gone. Even Rachel seemed to notice the change. Her confidence from earlier had vanished completely. At that moment, memories from when I must have been 33 or 34 years old flashed through my mind. Look at that. James, isn't that baby adorable? Yeah, really cute. How many months old do you think? Oh, look at that smile. Emily and I love children. We often spent time in parks, watching the kids with warm smiles. We had dreamed of building a family together, and Emily especially longed to have children. But, no matter how much we hoped, it wasn't meant to be. Even after medical tests, the cause remained unknown. One night, I noticed Emily crying quietly with her back to me. Her shoulders trembled as she tried to hold in her sobs. I reached out to her gently. Emily, what's wrong? After a moment of silence, she spoke in a small voice. I'm sorry, James. If I weren't your wife, you might have had a child by now. Her words felt like a knife to my chest. I knew she had been blaming herself, but hearing her say it out loud broke my heart. Emily, don't say that. Having a child might have been wonderful, but the most important thing to me's having you by my side. I held her gently, but her body continued to tremble. I can't give you anything, James. That's not true, Emily. Not at all. Just having you with me makes me happier than I could ever express. Being with you is what matters most to me. Whether we have children or not doesn't change our happiness. My feelings for you will never change. I gently stroked Emily's back. Her tears didn't stop, but I held her tightly until she finally calmed down. Thinking back to that moment reignited my fury toward Rachel, who had cruelly hurt Emily. Just as I was about to coldly confront Rachel, a firm voice called out from behind me. What's going on here? I turned to see Robert Owens, the president of Mitchell House where Emily worked, stepping into the room. He seemed to have noticed the unusual tension in the atmosphere. However, when his gaze fell on me, his face instantly turned pale. Mr. Kennedy. His voice trembled, and the murmurs among the employees in the room grew louder. The tension in the air became palpable. Why? Why is Mr. Kennedy here? What's going on? It's been a while, Mr. Owens. My wife was invited to this gathering, so I decided to join her. Thank you for always looking after my wife. I bowed slightly as I spoke. Emily is Mr. Kennedy's wife. The employees whispered among themselves. Emily has been with the company for 20 years, but if I recall correctly, Mr. Owens came in from outside. It's understandable that he doesn't know every employee's family details or even their spouse's occupation. Mr. Owens quickly turned to the surrounding employees, demanding an explanation. The employees whispered something to each other, and as Mr. Owens listened, his face instantly turned red with anger. Rachel, what have you done? His furious voice echoed through the venue, and Rachel's expression shifted to one of shock and fear. What? Mr. Owens? Mr. Owens stormed toward Rachel, his face a mix of outrage and disbelief. How dare you insult Mr. Kennedy and his wife, Emily, like this? This behavior is absolutely unacceptable. He snatched the offensive name card, foolish trash, from Emily's table and tore it into pieces in front of everyone. Rachel, flustered and desperate, opened her mouth as if to make an excuse, but no words came out. Seeing this, Mr. Owens's anger only grew. Mr. Kennedy, that's the man behind that project. That's right. Do you realize what you've done? Mr. Owens's furious reprimands filled the hall as he continued berating Rachel. Watching. Someone angrier than me oddly calmed my own emotions. Taking a quiet breath, I carefully chose my next words. Mr. Owens, I'll leave things here for now, but let me make one thing very clear. I find this incident deeply regrettable. Hearing this, Mr. Owens hurriedly stepped in front of me and bowed deeply. Mr. Kennedy, I sincerely apologize. I cannot express how sorry I am for Rachel's disrespectful behavior, but please, I beg you, don't abandon the project. This was a crucial endeavor for our company's future. Yes, what Mr. Owens was talking about was a new concept, a project aimed at launching a brand of newly built homes that embraced the idea of choosing any lifestyle you want. Families with children, couples without kids, those living alone, or even shared housing. This innovative home-building concept focused on respecting diverse ways of living. I personally felt a deep connection to this philosophy. I was also very supportive of that project. The idea that any family structure is acceptable perfectly aligns with today's world. Whether it's a family with children, a couple without kids, or someone living alone, creating a space where anyone can feel safe and comfortable is an outstanding concept. I shared my genuine thoughts about the initiative. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Owens looked relieved, as though he had been granted a reprieve, but I couldn't overlook what had happened. However, incidents like this make it difficult to move forward together. Mr. Owens's face turned ashen, and he looked at me with desperation. My company, Emily Interiors, holds the largest market share in the domestic interior industry. Without our involvement, Mitchell House's project would collapse before it even started. Rachel remained frozen, speechless, and wide-eyed. Mr. Owens opened his mouth to plead, but it was already too late. Emily, let's go. I gently took Emily's hand again and quietly began to walk. Mr. Owens's voice, apologizing over and over, echoed behind us, but I didn't look back. When we got home, a moment of silence hung between us. Emily calmly took off her coat and sat down on the sofa. A soft sigh escaped her lips. Her eyes reflected her exhaustion, yet her expression seemed relieved. After hesitating a bit, I sat down next to Emily. Then I opened my mouth to speak. Emily, I'm sorry. I know how much effort you've put into your work at that company, and yet I caused such a scene today. I knew exactly how hard she had worked and how much she had given to that place. But after what happened today, I couldn't just stand by silently. I couldn't forgive Rachel, watching her treat you like that. I couldn't let it slide. I had acted out of a desire to protect Emily, but I also understood the potential repercussions for her. I wasn't sure if what I had done had helped her or caused more harm. I wanted to know how she felt, but I was afraid of the answer. Emily looked thoughtful for a moment, then gave me a soft smile. Tomorrow's going to be messy at work. Maybe I should take the day off. She gently held my hand and spoke quietly. Thank you, because you stood up for me. I felt so saved. If you hadn't been there, if I'd been alone, I don't know what would have happened. I'm really grateful. Her words filled me with warmth. Emily was grateful to me for protecting her. That fact was the greatest comfort to me above anything else. Emily, I'll always protect you, no matter what happens. If anyone tries to hurt you, I won't let them get away with it. She rested her head on my shoulder, looking comforted. Thank you, James. Her voice was soft, but carried a warmth that reached my heart. What knew we were tired and should rest, but for a while, we simply stayed like that. The next day, I decided to take the day off too. I'm truly grateful to have such an excellent team, including the capable vice president. It's times like these that make me realize how helpful they are. When I told them about what happened yesterday, the usually mild-mannered vice president Stevens was absolutely furious and said something heartwarming. Make sure to pamper your wife properly. Here's your coffee. Thanks. We were enjoying a quiet morning when, around 11:00 a.m., the doorbell rang. When I checked the intercom, Mr. Owens was standing there. Emily and I exchanged a glance before opening the door. Good morning, Mr. Kennedy, Emily. I apologize for the sudden visit, but I needed to apologize in person. Mr. Owens bowed deeply and repeated his apologies several times. We invited him in and offered him a seat on the sofa. Even as he sat, he continued to apologize, looking visibly exhausted. As we listened quietly, I asked what was on my mind. What happened to Rachel? Mr. Owens sighed briefly before responding with a serious expression. She has been held accountable. She's been fired. Emily looked slightly surprised, but I wasn't. From a business perspective, the consequences of my decision to sever ties with Mitchell House were significant. Beyond financial losses, the impact on their reputation and relationships was considerable. In fact, many employees were deeply resentful of Rachel. The one who was most outraged was Amy. She led a group of employees into my office. This is unacceptable. You must apologize to Emily immediately, and Rachel must be dismissed. If not, I'm resigning. When Emmy said that, more than 20 others followed, submitting their resignation letters on the spot. At the same time, they presented me with a thick file documenting, in detail, everything Rachel had said and done to them over the years. Resignation letters. They went that far. Emily's eyes grew moist, and I gently squeezed her hand. Mr. Owens continued, after reviewing the documents, there was no justification to keep Rachel at the company. That's why we decided to terminate her. Emily listened, and I could see how deeply moved she was. Her colleagues, led by Amy, had stood up for her. That fact overwhelmed her with emotion, and tears began to stream down her face. Everyone. They did this for me. Through her tears, Emily bowed deeply to Mr. Owens. Thank you. I'm truly touched by what everyone did for me. Mr. Owens nodded slightly and spoke to Emily. Our company needs you, not as the life of the president of Emily Interiors, but as the hardworking professional who has been with us since her graduation. please return to the company. Everyone is waiting for you." He bowed deeply again before leaving. After seeing him off, I returned to the living room. Emily sat on the sofa, closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. "Everyone truly cares about you, Emily," I said as I gently placed a hand on her shoulder. She smiled through her tears. "Yes, I'm so grateful." "You know," Emily hesitated, and I couldn't help but chuckle. She didn't need to look so nervous. "It's about the project, isn't it? You want me to reconsider?" Seeing her tense expression, I decided to be honest. "To be frank, I can't forgive Rachel." "No, that's not right. I won't forgive her, no matter how much. She apologizes. But there are so many people at your company who genuinely care about you and stood up for you. That's why I'll support this project, not for the company, but as a way to repay Amy and the others for their loyalty. But there won't be a next time." Emily's face lit up with joy. "Really? Thank you. I'm so happy." Emily's genuinely happy expression, although to be honest, there are still parts of my emotions I haven't fully sorted out. Seeing her face like this makes me feel certain that this must be a right choice. I immediately called Mr. Owens to inform him of my decision to support the project. Over the phone, Mr. Owens was overwhelmed with gratitude, tearfully apologizing and thanking me repeatedly. I made sure to emphasize that this was a one-time exception. By the way, Vice President Stevens laughed at me. "Honestly, you devoted husbands are something else," he added with a grin. "I mean, you even went as far as naming the company after your wife." "Yeah, I'm weak when it comes to Emily. But honestly, it's more about paying back the people who stood by her." "Oh, don't worry. We all know how much you adore her, but please stop gushing. It's too much." "All right, bye." For some reason, he spoke rapidly and then hung up the phone. I gave a wry smile, thinking I haven't even started bragging yet. "James, are you ready to watch it now?" "Yeah, I'm coming." I headed to the living room when Emily called me. We were about to watch the memorial video. Mr. Owens had brought over a video we hadn't been able to see during the event. It began with a professional-looking opening, clearly created by someone skilled. Wow, look at me. I'm so young. This is a little embarrassing. On the living room TV, Emily's 20-year journey was being displayed, from her younger days to the present. Images of her working hard played one after another, and I couldn't help but smile. There was Emily in her 20s, waving toward the camera, and another of her working intently at her desk. "Emily, you've truly worked so hard. I respect you even more now." Emily smiled bashfully, squeezing my hand. "Thank you, James. Let's keep supporting each other from now on." I squeezed her hand firmly in return. "Of course. I'm looking forward to it." As I watched her image on the screen, I felt a deep sense of gratitude and pride, and we reaffirmed that we will continue to support each other as we move forward together. That is the shape of our marriage.